Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Discriminating Gamer, the board game review show that's seriously considering writing its PhD dissertation on General Lee's surrender to General MacArthur after the Battle of Yorktown in 404 BC. I call it the Harry Turtledove approach to history. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to take a look at Starship Samurai from Plaid Hat Games. In Starship Samurai from Plaid Hat Games, 2 to 4 players take on the roles of various clan leaders as they search for honor in the galaxy. Essentially, the game consists of a kind of a track board, scoring track board, as well as 4 location areas. And you're going to put out the location areas depending on the number of players that you have. Each player is going to, through a kind of card drafting system, select 2 different kind of mechs, like Voltron-like samurais, these big giant robot mechs that have got these cool miniatures that are represented in the game. You also are going to get a number of kind of other cards. You're going to get like a carrier card for your carrier spaceship and then a fighter card for your fighter spaceship. You're also going to get a couple of tactics cards as well. Essentially, the game plays out in 3 rounds. You have your first round, which is kind of the player round, where essentially the players go ahead and they choose their actions. Now, what they do is they have kind of 4 numbered tiles, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that doesn't necessarily refer to kind of turn order, rather it refers to kind of the power with which you're going to assign the different orders you select. The different orders you select include moving the faction markers. Essentially, you have a board, and if you sort of select the 4 and put it on the move the faction markers, you can essentially move one of the factions at the bottom of the board up 4 spaces on your track. Or you could move it, say, down 2 on another track and then up 2 on your track. You go kind of up and down like that along all the tracks. And you want to have more of these factions supporting you because that's going to be more points later in the game. You can also put your order token down to move units. So if you put down, a 2 on move units, that would mean you could move 2 of your units, either your samurai or your spaceship, your carrier. You can move them to various locations, and you're going to want to dominate locations, have the most power in locations, because that's going to allow you to control it and gain the rewards from that location. You can draw a number of cards. So if you were to put, the 2 down on draw cards, you could draw 2 cards, provided you don't go over 5. You're never allowed to have any more than 5 cards in your hand. If you go over 5, you have to discard, but you can go ahead and draw up to that, depending on how many, what order token you place down there for that action. Finally, you have gain wealth. If you were to put the 3 down on gain wealth, you would gain 3 wealth tokens. Wealth tokens are going to be important. A lot of times you're going to have to spend wealth in order to activate cards and do some other fun and interesting things. Now, some of the cards are orders, and you can essentially play an order before or after you place your order token on an order spot. Next, you have the battle phase. Essentially, how the battle phase works is you look at the various locations, like 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the location spaces have cards you place on them, location cards you place on them, so they change every round. Well, what you do is, when you are on a location, you add up all of your strength. For instance, your carriers have a strength 2, your fighters have a strength of 1, and then, of course, your samurais, their strengths vary, but they also have special abilities on their samurai card. Then each person who's involved in that battle is going to select one of their battle cards. They can play a battle card, which will add strength or maybe add some kind of different funky little thing that will happen in the battle. And you play that, you resolve it. Whoever has the most total strength at the end of that, they win. They can remove all of their units back to their kind of player sheet for free. Everybody else's units remain there. Also, too, sometimes you can destroy other people's ships and samurais. That simply means they're placed off to the side. They can't be used again that round, but they can come back in again next round. Finally, you have the resolution phase, where a number of things kick in. You do a lot of cleanup, but critically, you're going to gain the rewards from the location you just took. So you look at the location just took, it may just give you honor points, or it may say you can manipulate certain faction markers. If you manipulate the faction markers, then you go ahead and you look at the end of the at the end of the round where the faction markers are on that track, how many points you're awarded, and then you go ahead and figure out how many points you move along the outside edge of the honor track. So you're going to go around and around like this, selecting these orders, carrying them out, gaining wealth, drawing cards, moving units, adjusting the faction board. And you're going to do this, then you're going to have the battle phase and the resolution phase. You keep doing these phases until you run out of location cards for the location tiles. As soon as you can't put any more location tiles on there, that triggers the end of the game. And whoever has the most honor points at that point wins Starship Samurai. So I've got to confess, Starship Samurai was a game that I didn't know what to make of. I've never been a particular fan of kind of the Voltron style of units or whatever. Having said that, I kind of saw what these minis look like, and I thought, that just kind of looks interesting. I don't know if the game will be any good or not, but it looks interesting. So going into this, I expected it to be a fairly light game, and it kind of is. It plays in about 90 minutes. It's a fairly light game. And by light, I mean it's easy to play, it's easy to understand, and it moves really, really quick. It's one of those games that boom, okay, boom. You're always going to run into little AP problems here and there, but generally, we know exactly what you're doing. This is a game you pick up like that. I mean, it is so easy to understand this game, as you're playing it. It's so easy to learn. What I was not expecting is the level of difficult choices this game presents, because frequently, you want to control those spaces because those cards are worth so much, not only for manipulating the track, but also too because you can there's different kinds of locations, and if you can get kind of sets of locations, that's worth more points at the end of the game too. So you want to dominate those locations. At the same time, you want to be manipulating that honor track. I didn't realize that was such a big part of the game until I was about a turn or so into it. I'm like, I got to pay attention to that because that's ultimately how you gain points. So there's a lot of different mechanisms going on here, and then balancing that with the cards and the wealth, that's interesting too. And I really like the cards. I like the orders that you can play because they can really screw up people. You can destroy other people's ships and stuff like that, or you can just kind of throw monkey wrenches into what they're doing, or you can get cards or get cards back or cancel other cards, and it's just really interesting. And then during the battle, when you're playing the battle cards, that's too, because you never know what the other guy is holding. So it's not just a strict numbers game you can see on the board. You never know what the other guy is holding. There's a bluff. There's a double bluff there that I like a lot. I like that a lot. So the game is fun. It's very fun. It's light, like I say. This is not the most strategic game in the world. There's not this grueling deep strategy, but there are fun choices. For as quick as this game is, for as light as it is, as easy to understand as it is, this is a great game. I really enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I would. Starship Samurai is a winner in my book. Everybody on that I played with, they all enjoyed it. Again, wasn't their absolute favorite game of all time, but they really got a kick out of it, and they said, yeah, we play it again. We play it again. Because it is a lot of fun. I liked it. The whole kind of feudal Japan and space thing is kind of okay, but it's fun, and it's a little crazy, a little kooky. But you know what? The theme's the theme, and ultimately it's about the game. And the game here is good. It's a solid game. I really liked it. So the recommendation for the Discriminating Gamer for Starship Samurai is buy it. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer, ladies and gentlemen. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on discriminatinggamer.com. We ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. We are The Discriminating Gamer. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been doing a lot of those top 5 games from companies. I was thinking about Plaid Hat Games, but you know what just occurred to me? This is, I think, only the 3rd game from Plaid Hat I've ever played. I played the 2 Dead of Winters, the first one and The Longest Night Dead of Winter, and then I played this one. So, weird. Weird.
Please somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band.
Yes. Hey, you guys need a teacher?
We do.
Ah, yes, I'm very familiar with this game. The game of yes, Fury of Dracula.
That's right.
Very familiar with this game. So I'll just give you a quick brief run through so you guys can get to the meat of it.
All
so
right.
as you guys have already done the right thing. You guys have picked out your players. What you're doing wrong right off the bat is you're supposed to play them upside down.
Oh man.
It's a secret. It's so nobody knows who you are, right? So you imagine yourself, you're going through Europe, pretending to hunt for vampires. But if the vampire knew you were Van Helsing, you'd be dead. You'd be dead. So you turn those upside down, and now you have these blue cards, and you have this action card. This gives you the rules, so you don't need it because I'm telling you the rules, right? So you can either punch, which means when you play this card, you get to punch your neighbor right in the arm.
We can go counterclockwise, right?
Well, no, that's only if you use escape.
Oh,
but you've obviously have read a little bit of the rule book if you use escape. And so I'm going to punch you. You go, nope, counterclockwise.
Okay.
And then you punch your neighbor.
Okay.
The first person to give up is the vampire. Game over. So that's how you play the game. So enjoy it. And,
we couldn't have done it without you. Thank you.
Oh, no, you know what? It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
All right.
It's truly my pleasure. All right, thanks.